armoured units when they go into action. Next you'll see is a large number of radio areas, so they can communicate with the main force and advise them of the presence of the enemy, and then withdraw and allow the tank divisions to move forward to assault the enemy. This is a section from the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the US 101st Airborne Division, and they are now carrying out a tactical exercise on a reconnaissance patrol. You see there's an NCO in front, and he's in command of this unit. They have a radio communications. This is a section of 6 men. Normally a section would be 6 to 10 men. And 3 sections make up a full platoon of about 30 men. They're positioning themselves so that they can cover both left and right flanks, and stopping every now and again to check and see if they can spot any enemy ahead of them. This is exactly the sort of thing that you would have seen 70 years ago in a field like this in Somerset. So we have an infantry patrol. They now appear to be fired on, and they're moving forward to take up defensive positions. They're carrying a light mortar. They're now positioning 2-inch infantry mortar, which will allow them to fire high explosive or smoke shells, depending on the tactical situation. One mortar round in defence. They've obviously spotted the position of the German ambush. Firing the second round. They're now calling forward for armoured support. The radio operator armoured support before they advance on the German position. Third round, probably a smoke shell fired on the enemy position to show where it is, so that the tank driver and commander can see where they have to fire in support of the infantry section. So we've now got the tank moving forward to cover the advance on the infantry section, and you'll see them move off across the exercise area. Tank and infantry tactics post operation is very, very important. The tank is there to knock out any heavy enemy equipment such as tanks, mortars, field artillery. The infantry is there to advance, capture ground, but also to protect the tanks from any anti-tank fire and anti-tank weapons that may be in hiding. So the two have to cooperate very closely. They've now clearly moved the enemy back. The presence of the tank has deterred the enemy from making a further attack on the infantry section. So the infantry section has mounted up in the half track and will follow the tank on to the next bow, the next time that they encounter the enemy. So this is a very standard tactic. The tank moves forward, supported by half track with an infantry section. The tank comes under attack from an anti-tank gun, and the infantry will dismount and attack the anti-tank gun to ensure that it is not hit by the enemy. All these vehicles are privately owned. They are all original World War II pieces of kit. And as you driving around for like this, just driving around for a little bit longer. Anti-tank gun to deal with the German tanks. So they're now marching forward to support the infantry. And will do a crash action. When they get up to the infantry, they will leap out, put the gun into action, and fire a number of rounds at the enemy tank. For those of you who are interested in vehicles, it's actually the weight of the shell. The weight of the shell is 70 pounds, and it is fired at high velocity and fires an anti-tank round. These were extremely successful against German heavy armour. It was basically the only Allied anti-tank weapon that would successfully penetrate German Panther and Tiger tanks and battle range. The gun tractor and gun are privately owned here, and as you can see, the owner-driver is taking great advantage of the opportunity to drive his toys around in the field. Big boys' toys. Now I think they'll come along here and they'll do their crash action. Pull up in front of us and swing the gun into action and fire a number of rounds. The crew leads out. Highly trained crew. Notice how the gun, in order to be lifted off the trail, has to be weighted down on the barrel by a couple of crewmen. It comes off the rear of the tractor moves away, take up position away from the gun so that it doesn't come under any battery counterfire. The trail is split and the gun crew goes into action. You'll notice this is a particularly unique gun crew in World War II. It has a lady gunner. I can assure you that during World War II we did not employ ladies as gunners at the front line. However, as he is the daughter of the owner, she has a certain amount of priority. She's actually taken position as the firer. She is the one who pulls the trigger to fire the gun. They're now lining up on the Panther tank, which has knocked out an infantry section with high explosive fire. Loading the round, pushing it in with a wooden butt, which makes sure that the loader's fingers don't get crushed in the breech. And those youngsters amongst you might like to block your ears because it makes a loud bang.
I was ready.
Stand by for the next round. Stand by. Now you know why ex-service gunners are usually deaf.
Get ready, get ready.
We now have a misfire.
You ready, Henry? Putting it in there. Fire, isn't it?
Misfire round. You have to wait in case the gun does actually fire. You can't retract the shell immediately.
Get ready.
Stand by.
That's it, James. Try once more with the gun round.
We're going to try the misfire round this time.
Ready?
Normally, in normal battle conditions, you wouldn't get away with more than 2 rounds.
Right, Kate is away.
Normally, you wouldn't get away with more than 2 rounds at the most from any one firing position before the enemy had spotted you and would try to return fire. Now they've got to get away from their gun position very quickly before there is any enemy return fire. They've got to back up, load up the gun and drive off very rapidly.
Don't worry about that. That was very loud, wasn't it?
Quite good.
White pen down to a bit. Can't see a thing off. White pen down a bit. Yeah, go. That's it. Keep straight, keep it straight. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. 2 meters. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Slowly. Keep going. Go on.
Well done. Thank you all very much. I think a round of applause for our